everybody. I'm Yvonne Pettit, trustee with Signal Art Centre, and this is Jennifer Adams. She has a show upcoming and opening the 17th of August.
Opening the 17th.
And the title is
Ireland through Dereliction.
Okay, so we're going to have a conversation this evening, and it's going to be primarily about her show, about her work itself. Going to focus on the content of her work, the medium of her work. What is her work about? Why does she work with oil paint, watercolor, those kind of issues? But I'm going to begin by asking Jen a little bit about her background.
Sure.
What led her into the art world. So Jen, why become a professional artist? Or have you always been one?
I've been an artist in some capacity throughout my life, whether that's been when I was younger, before going to college. I did a lot of drawing, and the use of markers and acrylic paints. And then I just kind of got out of it. I continue to be creative through college or university. And
when you say college and university, what did you study in college and university?
Chemical engineering.
Oh, okay. So did you have a career as a chemical engineer?
Yes, I did have a brief career as a chemical engineer. Unfortunately, I was an analytical chemical engineer, so that means studying the quantity or physical attributes of certain things. Now that could be working in an assay lab for mine, like looking at aggregates and quantifying if there's certain minerals or metals within those aggregates. Or as for instance, my job, I worked for Maple Leaf Foods, which was basically taking their products and looking at the constituency of the product, like
so within the food industry.
Yeah.
And what country were you in?
I was in Canada at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what brought you to, okay, so you're in Canada, you're working as chemical engineer, you're continuing to paint, to draw, and how did you move from chemical engineering
back into fine arts? I had been dabbling like in still just being for relaxation purposes with paint and drawing, and unfortunately it was chemical engineering. It's a really high stress job and it's very repetitive and boring.
Okay.
And at the time, because when I took chemical engineering, I was right on the cusp of a load of people taking the same thing. And I was 2 years late. So it's hard to get into the high paying jobs.
Right.
Yeah. So you would take a kind of menial job just to survive, like this job that I was in. And I decided to kind of leave it.
So, and follow.
And instead, I got married and we moved north. And I took a government job.
Okay.
Working for the LCBO, which was the Liquor Control Board of Ontario.
Interesting.
Yeah. So again, I was still doing creative work in a small community and doing a bit of teaching and doing a bit of painting to show and stuff like that.
Well, what led you to go, to pursue art as a career? So did you go to art college?
I did. I went to Halliburton School of Art and Design while I was still working for the LCBO.
So that's much more of a conscious decision.
Yeah,
that you're moving from.
I decided, when I was about 32, that I was going to pursue my career whenever I could in the arts field.
Yeah, great. And then how are you in Ireland?
I decided that I finally wanted to come home.
Okay.
Yeah, and had enough.
And And you went to art college in Ireland too.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you win?
I went in NCAD,
And which department?
visual fine arts.
All right.
Yeah.
And so that was how long ago?
Oh gosh. So
10 years?
no, not even 10 years, I
Okay.
don't think.
Okay.
So how long were we in RHA?
That's where we met.
Yeah.
Was in the RHA school. So that's how we know each other.
Sure.
So it was before that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving.
So I think it was 2018.
And you gave up working as a chemical engineer.
That's completely gone now.
I do remember you had 9 cows at one stage.
I did.
Yeah.
When we first moved back to Ireland, we were living in Cowes County Meath, and I had a small hobby farm along with me going to college down in
So you kind of had been living it rurally, and is that so? How? Okay, so you have a degree in visual communication. Is that the term?
visual fine arts.
Visual fine arts. So in NCAD, did you learn painting technique there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah. I did drawing. I did painting. It's very experimental. And very contemporary.
Yeah.
So that's what we touched on. We didn't really do techniques, so just say it was more about you just expressing yourself through these mediums.
So that's more of an expressionist technique.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, color, emotion.
Yeah, emotion.
And looking at your work, it's that, but it's also very precise classical drawing in there. So where did that come from?
See, that, I think, because in the RHA we learned all of those techniques, but not to that kind of degree. That's more from when I was younger.
All right.
And more of my drawing technique and maybe some of the drafting that I learned when I was in Canada doing chemical engineering.
Okay, so it comes through.
The analytical chemist comes through in me.
All right.
It does.
So you're living in rural Ireland. How did you, and you're learning expressive techniques, and your drawing is absolutely spot on classical technique. How did you become motivated to engage with this theme of dereliction? What was your motivation?
If you're living in rural Ireland, it doesn't really matter where you're living in Ireland. You're going to see it. It's on the hinterlands of villages and towns. It's in the middle of farming communities. Just the little spots. Or you could even come across a once glorious estate and it's completely a burnt shell. You had every varying degree. And it's just, it's what happened. It's all those questions. What went on here? Who lived here? The memories of that place. I find so interesting. I know a lot of places where I grew up aren't there anymore. Our farmhouse is not there. You wouldn't even know if you drove by. It would just be a pasture now. But I know the house was there.
Right, okay.
So, and the barns. There's nothing left.
Hardly any trace.
There's nothing. Nothing at all.
Okay. You're currently living in Donegal.
Yeah.
With Han.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of.
Yeah, and that is kind of my ode to the microcrisis in Donegal. Is that house?
Okay, because it's not a traditional,
No.
old sort of Victorian era type farmhouse. It's quite contemporary.
Yeah.
So would you like to speak a little?
Yeah, there's tons of information online about the mica situation. I mean, everybody's heard to some extent about it down here. That house there is in Dunfanaghy. It was I say at the time I took that photograph, it was probably about 10 years old.
All right.
So now it would be about the age of my house that I live in. So it'd be around 20 years old.
All right. And the painting, the
The little
window
yeah.
on the left, that's more of a traditional
That's more,
Victorian.
yeah.
Um,
That's Mare
farmhouse.
across and just outside of Virginia,
Nice.
County Cavan.
All right. And your show is opening on the 11th, is it? The 17th of August. So how many pieces ish? Many times?
Probably 12.
12. So I imagine to see all the pieces together will make quite a coherent
Yeah,
story.
Yeah.
And in your work, I guess this is what you want to express is.
Yeah, mostly what I like to express is to take time to notice. Dereliction doesn't have to be an ugly thing. It needs to be, you need to take time to really look at it, observe it, and know that this was somebody's home at once. This is not somebody's store. Maybe they went to school here. And there are memories and there's history here that should be remembered in some way. Maybe not in a grandiose way. Take the time to just notice it. People are in such a rush now. I mean, whizzing around and not paying attention to the small details. It's kind of nice.
And I guess using the paint medium itself is interesting because painting beautiful lace, it makes
almost romanticize. I don't want to romanticize it, but in a way it does. I mean, that's what we're here to do. We're here to get people to look at something and enjoy it.
But maybe in some of the older ones, there's a sense of, I find, for me personally, there's a sense of nostalgia.
Yes.
For those old, for a simpler way of life, for those old Victorian farmhouses that people have abandoned for newer.
Yeah.
And also to move to urban centres.
There's one piece in the collection called Niflheim's Children, and it's not Irish, it's Spanish. But the reason it's in there is they're very agricultural, just like Ireland is. Have a lot of the same kind of, I think values would be a good word. But as you're looking at this painting, there's farmland out before in the foreground there. Most of that, 75% of it, is now abandoned. The children didn't want to take up farming. They wanted to move to Malaga, where all the action is. So what do you do?
Yeah.
It just sits there now.
It's an interesting part of Irish culture.
Yeah.
Jen, while we're referring to these three paintings, this little one, can I get up?
Yeah.
This is the watercolor and shows. This is older.
Oh, this is 2014.
And a more straightforward watercolor landscape.
Yeah.
So this shows, in a sense, the trajectory of your origins through to today.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think. Jen, in your work, art historically, are there artists that you refer to?
Oh, yeah. I've got a caddy on. Go on. Oh. There's definitely, now I'll draw blank. One of my, and I know it's their cliche almost. How did you say this? Oh, Picasso. Well, I do love Picasso, and there's one series of studies that he does over the ages, and it's Monet. He takes Le Petit Déjeuner, and he is confounded with Benet's painting because it shouldn't work in the traditional sense. So he tries to make it sense of it and tries to make it work in the classical golden mean. And he produces, I think it's over 35 paintings and studies. And it's just, I found it so interesting that he would take time out of his works to
Analyze.
analyze and keep going on this. And he never figures out why it works. It just does. Sometimes paintings just work.
Manet was a great rule breaker.
Oh, yeah.
Picasso was a great rule breaker.
As well.
So it's that aspect of Picasso, his analytical
And determination on figuring things and how they work.
classically
Yeah. Yeah.
in his classical period before he went cubist.
Well, before he went crazy, I think, some of the stuff. A lot of people will say that. But, yeah. No, and I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of our photographers. In the way that they treat photography. Ansel Adams, yeah. He's from the States. He does a lot of black and white photography. On not so much dereliction, but isolation. Like isolated places. They're been abandoned. And they're very interesting to look at. Large scope photography. It's interesting. There's, oh gosh, so much. Like I said, I have catalogs of just.
No, that's fine. And if any others pop into your head, you can refer to them, passively go. So, well, I was going to ask you about contemporary artists that you would admire.
Leigh Smith.
Okay.
Just for the way he paints.
Beautiful, classical.
His whites. I don't know if you've seen them. If you look them up, Leigh Smith, when he does teacups, anything like that, the way he works with white is absolutely stunning.
He's a great draftsman.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
Yeah, he's a great painter.
He's a great painter.
And it's quite precise and quite classical.
Beautiful stuff.
Surprised me.
Yes. Who did I tell you to look up? He's from Drogheda. Sorry, I'm late.
No, hi. You're so welcome. Raphael Holmes.
Yes.
Another kind of
very mathematical.
you and a glow measurement golden section go. Would you like to elaborate on that section and go?
No.
And just give the formula.
If you're doing a painting and there's a very classical trick, it's called golden section, golden mean. And it's to get your composition to sit correctly on a canvas. There's so many formulas you could, like if you're looking at the Last Supper, and you can get, first you're dividing and then you're putting in your axis to get exactly where those figures should be sitting along that table. The simple one is to divide your page into a third. So you have a third and you have 2/3 on this side. And then again, your 1/3 divided again into a third. And you've got your proper sections to place whatever you're going to paint. That is the simplest one to do.
The rule of thirds.
The rule of thirds is, yes, the simplest one.
A little bit more complex, but not
But
far.
you can go way into that if you want.
Yeah, fair.
Not to overcomplicate things.
Okay, but fair. No. All right. So we've touched upon the conceptual content of your work, and we have touched upon the social, political, personal messages that you would like.
Yeah.
That interest you.
Yeah. The Mayhera Cross ones indirectly on the Rondell. That was done in the RHA, and it was done about derelict properties that were being put up on the market. They're still being put up on the market like rampantly, and being advertised as a house that could get funding for the rehabilitation and renovation schemes that the government get. Nobody. It's a 1% chance at getting money for these properties. That house was listed in 2023.
Okay.
It was bought, and it is still sitting there to this day because they couldn't. And now they own this.
Wow. So it's the cost of renovation?
No, it's the government saying that they will give that. You can apply, we will give you money, and
the actual amounts.
It's kind of like, well, artist funding. It's like artist funding. You have to jump through the loopholes, and one misstep and it's like, no, you're not applicable to this funding. And unfortunately, a lot of people found out the hard way. If they got the funding, if you were the 1% that got the funding,
Only 1%.
it's a very, very small percentage. You try to flip that house and put it back on the market, you owe the government all that money back.
Ah, all right. So it's complicated to take on these old,
Unfortunately,
stone built, beautiful old.
so most of them, when the owner put them up for sale and they were derelict, all the electrics were dug up from the road, and they were disconnected. So that was a major issue with the funding, was getting the electrics back up.
Okay, not easy. A little bit more people best. Okay. Don't we'll leave business till the end. That side of the being an artist. Maybe we'll move on to some philosophical questions.
So,
For example, in the contemporary world, what do you see the job of an artist is? How you position yourself within the art world?
I think that's always a hard one to answer. I think, but no, for me, I think it is recording in pictures, if you will, and this is for the photographers as well. It's kind of the temperature of what is going on in the world at the time. And I know people just kind of, some people snicker and say, well, nobody's going to see your art. But if somebody picks up one of those in 100 years' time in an attic somewhere and sees the date on it and goes, it starts to think, it means it's reached one person, and makes them think and maybe do a little bit of research, a little bit of digging on what that visual piece means. So in a way, we're storytellers, we're historians. We wear many of those types of hats, I think.
We're so visual, and visual symbolism is everywhere. Although we're completely overwhelmed by visual.
Yeah.
You won't know that. Nevertheless, it's how we interpret the world.
Yeah, and that can mean so many things to so many people.
And we know that like painting is such a slow medium. So the fact that somebody is taking the time to
do that.
Yeah. To me, is very meaningful.
Yeah.
It's
exactly
an amazing way of spending time.
Yeah. I mean, and two, there's trends within the visual arts. So, I mean, what's relevant now may be relevant again in 50, 100, 150 years. Who knows?
That's right. So perhaps it's about being true to yourself,
oneself. Yeah.
what interests you,
Mhm.
and you think is worthy of engaging with.
Yeah. And I think that's important for all artists to, you do what you need to do. It doesn't matter. If somebody's telling you, you need to paint this and this is how you need to do it. No, you don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads to a deeper and more philosophical question about what art means to you.
Oh,
Or what is art?
what is art? What is art and what it means to me? Art is kind of everything for me. It's my meditation. It's what I do. It's yeah. It's what makes me who I am. Yeah. I don't think I'd be a good person if I didn't have art.
Yeah, to me, it's essentially a form of communication.
Yeah.
And just as you were saying, you hope that you're going to communicate something, some feelings, some ideas to people, and it's a different form of communication. It's one that is slow,
Yeah.
in fast digital imagery world,
You don't.
mediated, etc.
I think it would be, most of this world now is consumable and full.
Yes. So in a sense, in terms of the technique, the medium that you use, the painting is the very opposite of.
Yes. It's something that's made to last.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I've got a question about beauty, because I do think that painting, because the origins of painting, are spiritual, religious, ritualistic, followed by iconic, followed by celebratory, beautifying. So we're going back to the golden section here, perhaps. Does beauty, and your paintings are very beautiful, does beauty exist independently, do you think, of human perception?
That's a really tough one.
That's when I just thought I'd throw in something.
Yeah. Sprinkle that in.
Yeah.
That could be argued either way.
It's
really
mathematical, perhaps.
Yeah. I'll tell. I do not set out to paint something beautiful.
Okay.
Um.
This because there is a grittiness in politically, socially,
Yeah.
in your work.
Yeah.
But the paintings are beautifully composed.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Mathematically composed.
Yeah.
And beautifully executed. And that's beautifying.
Yeah. I suppose that, but in my brain,
Yes.
because it does tend to be very analytical when I'm painting something like that.
Yes.
Nowhere in my conscious thought when I'm painting does that enter. Do I think I am going to paint a beautiful painting?
Okay.
Right.
So interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I have that. My thoughts when I'm painting something like that is the green right? Is the sky right? Oh my God, I just painted grass where there's not supposed to be grass. That's what I'm thinking.
And the composition before you get to the camera.
Composition's very important.
Because you have a classical technique. You can see there's an underpainting, the monochromatic,
and that
underpainting.
There was too. Yeah, exactly the same. That is coming from being a drafts person and setting myself up a map. So when it comes to laying down paint, I know where it's kind of supposed to go, and then if I decide that I'm going to be a little bit more freewheeling, then I can. You know, it's just there because I'm more of a classical trained person.
Yes.
That I know where that should be, and I don't lose the perspective on it, because that is something I really just niggles me, is if I lose perspective, it's hard to get it back in there.
Okay.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay. Which, I mean, is something that I really enjoy in painting, because it's what draws you in.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, a painter is trying to play with how a viewer is going to look at a painting, to be drawn in, to be led around, to be engaged.
Yeah, we're always looking for how to move your eye through that. Yeah.
Jen, is there something you wish people asked you about your art?
Anything.
Rarely do.
Anything.
Anything.
No, you know, it's more about them. I think I'd be like people to ask me more about why did I paint this? And, you know, what am I trying to tell people? And yeah, and it is mostly the social, what's going on in that county. Like, for instance, that it's not mica that caused all of that. It's a ferrous oxide acid.
This is engineering again. Okay.
Yeah, but that, you know, to people that are living with this, and I'm living with this, I have a house that's fallen down around my ears. And since you've been there, it's worse. We're losing the one side, and it's all because of a not mica related. And so I lose my house probably by the end of this year. It'll be uninhabitable. Like, you won't be able to stay. And it's happening all over Donegal and parts of Mayo, parts of Sligo and Northern Ireland. So that's why a Panky's house is, it's in some respects. There's certain moments that they have a store. It's just one. Like no exit, you love that one. So, and it would be in the show as well. There's a story behind that.
I'm going to just is there anything that I haven't asked you?
No, I think
No, I think your work is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And it is gritty.
Thank you.
And it is deep. And it is sensitive. And I wish you every success in your show. And Signal is thrilled to have you show here.
Oh,
yeah. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, can I ask about why you position the house where it's just the very top and the side of missing, or you didn't, not missing, but you decided to
I cut it off.
put that out of the
that is basically a trick of when you're doing your setup, and it makes you look at that corner.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it draws you up into the next corner. So I'll come over here. So you're made to look, because you're like, well, that's not normal. Where's the rest of the house gone? And then it makes you draw up and across and over before you start to look at the rest of the painting. It's forcing your view is what I'm doing. And it works.
It does.
It does work. It
You know,
really
'cause
does.
I can understand.
Yeah.
But it's because you do definitely, and the landscape beyond that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, so it does draw you definitely in.
But
I was just
it's
curious.
a trick. And I dabbled in graphic design, and it's a trick that they use a lot of to force the ad, when you're looking at an ad, into looking at certain things first before you read the fine print.
So you get the message. Jen, what about the text
Okay, so
on the download?
on this, I put in text from the actual, you can download from the government the forms for funding for derelict houses. And this is actually some of it in here. So, which I told was an absolute no-no. But I did it anyways, because I'm mean. But yeah. And so that was one of the reasons, is because of the project I was working on for the art aid.
And can I ask you about the subjects of the paintings? Is it a building that you're drawn to first, or is it the issues like the mica or the Spanish agriculture, and then you pick a building that represents this, or?
Yeah, so it can be either. I was interested in doing the mica thing, and I just happened to be over in Dunfanaghy, and just being myself, I was just roaming around, and I ended up in this development, which sits up over and looking down, and I just wandered around in there and took some pictures.
And the whole developer said mica.
It's all abandoned. It's completely. There's two little subdivisions. Each has 6 houses in a little crescent, and they're. I mean, I think they were all bought before they were built, and they were about a 200,000 at the time. So this is somebody's dream home
That they paid for.
and they're probably gone now. I would think they're just rubble. So it's sad.
And yet we go right round to the amazing technical and absolutely beautiful technique that you have used to present this. So it's a fantastic exhibition. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Don. And I'd like to thank Don and Shane and Signal Centre
Yeah.
for having us.